Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome back. I am talking with Suraya Nawab. She is with Islamic Careline. We started off the first part of the program talking about the Widows Support Group. And of course, Suraya has outlined that they don't only have a Widows Support Group, but Alhamdulillah, Islamic Careline has a range of support groups for our community. Having said that, we did focus on the widows, the younger widows, but let's move on from there and let's look at the issue around old age homes and frail care centres in the Muslim community. Is there a place for these institutions? Should there be a place for such institutions? Should we, as the extended families, not playing this critical role in the elder generation's lives? Should we not be caring for them in our homes? Because recently we've heard about a Muslim-run old age home in Crosby in Johannesburg, where apparently the patients were mistreated very badly. They even presented with bruises all over their body. And we've also heard of reports where food was withheld from the patients or the people in these old age homes as punishment and further threats to them as well. I'm sure Suraya's heard of the story, so let's hear her views and what the ulama and Islamic Careline are doing about these type of issues. Back to you, Suraya.
Okay, so when we talk about the aged in our communities, I think the first thing that we should always have in mind is the dua that we read about Rabbi Irhamhuma Kama Rabbayani Saghira. Oh Allah, help me or assist me in taking care of my older parents as they cared for me in my childhood.
Ameen.
And so, yes, of course, we have a responsibility. We have a moral responsibility as well as a religious one, I think, in Islam, to take care of our parents. And there are numerous hadith and Quranic ayats and talks about how much barakah you have in your life when you do look after older people, your parents especially. But at the same time, many years ago, we used to have these carte blanche programs on DSTV, and they highlighted so many homes where there was this abuse happening of older people. And it's sad to say that it's now even apparent in our communities. I think many years ago, we didn't pay much attention to it because we didn't have so many facilities. However, over the years, there has been a need because for various reasons. I think there's a need now more than ever because most people, most couples, middle income couples, have dual income families in terms of both the spouses working to earn a living, and we all know how high the cost of living is and things like that. So that not everybody has the ability to take full-time care of older people in their families because of their economic or financial situation. And so the ideal, yes, would be that we take care of these people in our homes and we make arrangements for them, whether it's wheelchair access, whether it's types of food that they need for their nourishment, taking them to hospitals for their visits or doctors, taking them for shopping a little while, if they are still able to do so, but they are older people, but they need to go out. So they also, again, the Islamic Careline many years ago started a program like that, which then fizzled out because there became a need for live-in centers, full-time live-in residences for older people, and then that need actually changed to become a more frail care need, which some of the counselors at the office actually did a training with, and they were working with Darul Shifa to go out and help these people. But the Careline started off with going to help old people, whether they're living on their own or whether they're living with families, but they didn't have the means to go shopping or go take them to the hospitals for their treatment or something like that. But as I said, that program has ended a few years ago when so many centers opened up in the community. The abuse that happens in in these old age homes are horrific, and as you mentioned, Julie, We've just recently had a case in our area as well, which is absolutely sad and disturbing. However, as I said, in terms of the question that you asked about, is there a need? Yes, there is a need. As I said, not everybody, not every home is able to take full-time care. And that's why frail care has become so important, where you'll have women, caregivers, and caregivers is another big development in our communities where many women have gone through caregiving courses, and they would go and look after older people in the homes in which they live or with their extended families, like their children and things like that. In terms of the care and the type of care and the level of care in terms of proficiency and how effective the care is, or how well holistic the care is in terms of the food and the needs in terms of cleanliness and how these places are run. I think we have a very good example in terms of Kari Musa Sirat's old age home out in Jeppe. And I mentioned that specifically because I was involved with Kari Musa right in the initial phases of him starting this frail care center, when he used to come to the office and we used to have meetings and he wanted just information about how it should be run and that. And the one thing I was very firm about with Kari Musa is that sometimes it costs a lot to run a frail care center. I mean, older people have special needs, and it costs a lot. And we all have the good intention of providing this care free of charge, because, as we say, it gives us a way for blessings, for sawab, and things like that. But it's not always possible. And so I then asked him to look at the possibility of actually having paid care. So if somebody goes to the center there, and they obviously go through a process of filling in the relevant forms and details and things like that, and if a couple can't, for their own reasons, care for their mum or dad in their own homes, then they can go there. But if they're earning, then they should pay towards the caring for their parents. At least do that if you can't do the physical caring. And I think that helps the centers as well. The center in particular that was mentioned, I think they also used to have a fee. But with Kari Musa, I know, I mean, if they can't afford it, then he's not insistent that it should be paid care. So he has people at the center, residents at the center that are paid for, and those that are not. So I think there's a few things that we must remember and take into consideration when we do this. And it's the last few years of a person's life, and we're all going to get there. And we don't really know what our position is going to be like with our kids and our health. So I think it's just a matter of being really compassionate. When you have the right intention to help older people in a residential facility, then and I think for all the work that we do, whether it's the widows support that we spoke about earlier, whether it's the old age homes, I think intention is so important, Julie, because when we have a clear intention, then Allah makes our work easier as well. So, is there a need? Yes, there is a need. I definitely think there is a need. The ideal would be that everybody takes care of their older parents in their own homes, but we need to be realistic and also realize that not. And then again, the alternative is, if you don't want to put them into a home, then pay for caregiving, because caregiving
Absolutely.
has also become a niche in our community where a lot of women are using it as their income. So you also generating income for somebody if you get them into your home, have a space enough for them, or have them just for the day or just for the night. But you're also providing a job for somebody who's a single mother most of the time.
Absolutely. And that's where we leave it. I'm glad to hear that you are suggesting there is a need, because we looked at different circumstances. Obviously, the young couple, they're raising their own children, they're dependent on two incomes. So all of that needs to be taken into consideration. I just hope that the ulama bodies in South Africa do keep a beady eye open on these centres so that they can prevent abuse from happening on the older generation generations, our mothers and our fathers, like you said, they cared for us when we were young. So if we can't care for them in our own homes, let's make sure they're very well taken care of in a frail care centre, inshallah. And that's where we leave it. Always wonderful talking with you, and we do hope to meet up with you again sometime soon. Have a wonderful Eid. May you be blessed with the mercies and the blessings of Laylatul Qadr. And as always, Assalamu alaikum, Khuda Hafiz from everyone here at Ramadan TV.